Y estamos acá en la cancha, estamos en el Bernabéu donde viene Messi con la pelota, lo ve a Ronaldinho, la pide Ronaldinho, gol. De cabeça, olha chance, olha gol, golaço!
Ladies and gentlemen, señores y señoras, welcome back to everybody's favorite podcast in the world about footy and football, however you want to say it. Welcome to the Golazo Football Podcast. A few disclaimers before I actually start off. First, it is myself, DTG, as you listeners may have recognized my voice from the past, of course. My loyal listeners, how are you guys doing today? So the disclaimers are, first, my phone dropped, on cement outside. I dropped outside, and basically, the volume is not working, nor is the ringer. I can't control the sound or whatever, so it might go off a few times. I can't put it on vibrate, which is very, very annoying. I'll try my best to muffle it. That is one thing. Second disclaimer is, yes, I know in the previous episode a while ago, I announced that Mike was the new co-host due to a few misunderstandings with Mike himself and just not being able to do it. Not saying he's uncommitted or whatever, but just other things he's going through. He can't really do it at the moment. Maybe he'll feature every now and then, but as of right now, I'm going solo. Just like Andres did a couple months back, but yeah, it's all right. Everything happens for a reason. So, yeah, we're back after almost a month or so. It's been a crazy month since you've last heard my voice. Basically, I moved. I couldn't do a few episodes because of that. I probably would have gotten in 2 or 3. So yeah, Mike tried to make an episode on his own software, but it came out very, very bad, the audio, so we couldn't upload that. And the troubles with Mike and finding a new co-host was very difficult, so I decided to say, screw it. This has gone on long enough. I need to get back to it. So here we are today. And basically, this episode is going to be a short recap of the summer of what we've missed so far. Because, to be honest with you guys, it's been a quiet summer compared to past summers. I think this is mostly because last summer was the World Cup. And the summer after is always it's not because every summer after a World Cup year, you have Copa America, Copa Oro, or Gold Cup for English, Spanish speakers. And then you have, this year at least, you had the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations, for the first time in the summer, which is usually held mid-season. But yeah, so we had 3 tournaments this summer, and this started kind of early June, the U20 World Cup. And a bunch of transfer news, of course. Earlier on in the summer, it was pretty dull, not gonna lie, with the transfers. It's starting to heat up now after all these tournaments have ended, including the Women's World Cup, which we'll get to because I have some choice words for the Women's World Cup in the aftermath and whatnot. So let's start off with Copa America, because I know there's a lot of listeners to the Golazo Football Podcast who had themselves a great time with this Copa America. Shout out Andres. Andres, being Brazilian, of course, and Brazil being the champions of South America. Controversially, I'd say, because I don't know how I feel about it. It's not taking anything away from Brazil, because I'll get into it. They had some standout players. It's nothing against any individual players or against Chicha, the coach. I think he's a good coach. um, what, like, I guess you can say it's like refereeing decisions and all that. Like, there's always gonna be controversy with like host nations and whatnot. You had Russia last summer, who like as a joke and memes were flying around last summer saying how Putin is like locking up like the referees' wives or and families, so they have to give Russia the right calls. You know, that sort of thing. But it was nothing like this time around. It was controversial in the sense that in the Argentina game, you had Dani Alves tripping Aguero, nothing was called. You had a lot of VAR um, calls that were not called to be reviewed on VAR, if that makes any sense. And yeah, it left a bitter taste in the triumph of Brazil because, you know, it's they're the host nation. Like it was inevitable. It was always gonna happen. Not saying that there's haters or whatnot. I mean, there are always gonna be haters, but yeah, you can like you can say you can pretty much like see where this is coming from, like the Argentina semifinal, the Messi fanboys, as a lot of you may say, but no, it was justified. I think that it was it was just a controversial game because they should have definitely had at least one penalty. I know a lot of people saying Argentina should have had at least three penalties or three VAR calls, but you know, you're never gonna get the right calls. At the end of the day, the refs are still human, but yeah, VAR is here to stay. I don't know. I know Andres doesn't like it, but I think it's very necessary to have VAR. I know it was pretty much worthless in that semifinal because I think they should have been at least reviewed. I'm not saying they were clear-cut penalties. The only one I would say was a clear penalty was the Dani Alves trip on Aguero. Like that's just Aguero didn't even have the ball. He still got tripped. Like it was just stone cold. But yeah, this Copa America was pretty eventful. You know, a lot of penalty shootouts. And especially in the quarterfinals. Shout out Peru. I know there's a lot of Peruvian listeners. I know a lot of Peruvians myself. That game against Uruguay, who I said were the favorites to win it. And the man you would expect to score, pardon me, was Luis Suarez to score the penalty. Actually was the only one to miss it as Peru went on to win. And then you had Brazil going up against Paraguay in the penalty shootout in the quarterfinals as well. Venezuela, even though they looked good in the group stages, they just fell to Argentina. And then you had Chile knocking out Colombia, another upset in my opinion, because Colombia looked really good in the group stages. But yeah, at the end of the day, Brazil triumphed. While there was also controversy in the third place match when Gary Medel, the captain of Chile and currently at Besiktas, got into a little tussle with Messi, and Messi retaliated with a slight shove, nothing much. But then Medel was the one who antagonized him, started pushing him, getting up in his face, and Messi didn't do anything. Now, again, if the referee saw the whole thing, or if they had brought it to VAR, I think Messi should have gotten at least a yellow, because he did kind of start it by like a slight shove, but the shove wasn't enough to it was nowhere near as bad as what Medel was doing. Medel got all up in his face trying to fight him. Like it's a bookable offense, but not a red what Messi did. I think Medel, I guess you can say, was a red, depending what your viewpoints are on what's a soft call and what isn't. But yeah, there was that. Man, I really gotta feel for the Argentinian people. Shout out Shofu Boleo, must have been rough in those last two games. I mean, Argentina still got third place. However, I know it's not enough for Messi, and I know Messi had some choice words about it, about the controversial refereeing, and there was back and forth between him and Thiago Silva, and then Messi did eventually get fined. But these fines for these footballers, especially Messi, it's like pocket change. It's peanuts for them. And then that was that. The Copa America concluded. You had Brazil as your champions with whom I think were the best players of the tournament. Everton, Suarez, I think his name is not Suarez, but the Portuguese pronunciation, Everton Suarez or whatever. I'm trying here, people. Andres could probably help me out with that if only he was here. But very good young prospect in Gremio actually, being linked to a whole host of Europe with a bunch of clubs, but yeah, at the moment he's still a Gremio player. Apparently Arsenal, my boys, my freaking boys, let's go. I'm just kidding. Are preparing a medical for him, but I don't really buy into the news, because I'll get into the Arsenal a little bit. I won't have a full rant about it, but you'll see what I'm talking about. But there's them. There's Everton trying to sign Everton. That's funny. I like that one. But thing is, Everton. He played out wide, but he's very lethal. I think his future lies more like up top, sort of like he's a goal scoring winger, if you can say that. But I guess he kind of looks like not looks like he's kind of like a Richarlison. Richarlison for Everton plays out wide, but he goes up top sometimes, just drifts inside. Is a lethal finisher. Richarlison also in the Brazil team that won the Copa America. And yeah, I was really impressed with the kid. He was top goal scorer of the tournament. If I'm not mistaken, was also the best young player. Well, if there is no award for that, then he was definitely the best young player, like without a doubt. And if he doesn't get a move from Grêmio this summer, like I don't know what to tell you. Like I think he should be in Europe by now. That's that. Dani Alves had another another tournament of his life. Man, this guy just keeps on winning and winning and winning. He's officially the player with the most trophies in history. About 39 or 40 trophies. For any professional to just win one, for example, you have Steven Gerrard, who never won the Premier League, has won one Champions League and a multitude of English cups, FA Cup and the League Cups. But and that's considering how great of a player he was. But for Dani Alves, who is still a pretty good player, not pretty good, he's a legendary player. He's one of the best right backs of the generation, and it just goes to show what a great player he is. Dani Alves is 36 years old, still bombing down the right flank. I was gonna say bombing down the wing. He's not a winger. I mean, he kind of does play with like a winger, especially in the Joga Bonito style. And yeah, I'm sorry, my phone just keeps going off. That's why I keep like studying or whatever. But no, it's fine right now. So yeah, Dani Alves. Speaking of the man, he is being linked to Arsenal again. But no, it's not just Arsenal. A whole host of European teams. Tottenham Hotspur as well. A move back to Juve, which seems weird. Sevilla and Barca, weirdly enough, because Barca are iffy about Nelson Semedo from the Portuguese right back, originally from Benfica, and they just want to bring Alves back as a backup to Sergio Roberto. And Tottenham Hotspur, who are reportedly throughout the window have been looking to sell Kieran Trippier, need a new right back because they also have Serge Aurier, but he's not good enough. They're both inconsistent. So we'll see where that goes to. As far as Juve goes, that's a weird link because I know Man City are interested in João Cancelo, the Portuguese right back at Juve, who is a very, very good right back. So yeah, we'll see where Dani Alves ends up. As we know, he terminated his contract at Paris Saint-Germain, and yeah, I think that's a pretty dumb move from PSG, but we'll see who they bring in because Thomas Meunier, the Belgian, he can play a right back, but he only has 1 year left on his contract, so it's an iffy situation there. We're gonna have to see what happens with that, where the future lies for Dani Alves. Even though he's 36, he's more than still got it. Quick mention. I gave it like a little shout out earlier. Peru. Congratulations, Peru, for making the Copa America final. Like, as annoying as some of my friends got with the whole, tournament. Yeah, Peru, Peru, Peru. Like flaunting it in my face because I said Uruguay was gonna win it all, and they ended up beating Uruguay on penalties. I didn't hear the end of it for a few weeks, uh, but yeah, I have to give a credit where credit's due. Peru reaching the first final since 1970, or the 70s, I should say, rather. I don't want to go on my phone and waste time on the podcast like I used to do. So no, I'm just pulling it out of my head. It's been a while, folks. So yeah, a great tournament from them. Demolishing Chile in the semifinals was probably the highlight. 3-0. I just can't. I still can't wrap my head around how Uruguay lost, man. Like, shout out Gaston. I feel for you, man. But nonetheless, it doesn't take anything away from Peru. They deserved it 100% of the way. They destroyed Chile, like I said, 3-0. It was, there was some sort of hope when they tied against Brazil 1-1, but Brazil is just too much in this tournament. Like, the way they carved open Argentina's defense, which isn't really anything that special. Sorry, Leo. Your defense isn't that good. But trust me, I know. I know how you feel. I'll get to it. But yeah, no, Brazil were, pretty dominant, but I think it was just because of individual brilliance, like Coutinho stepped up. Jesus stepped up like crazy. Dani Alves, Everton, Richarlison whenever he did play. Arthur had a good tournament as well. Alisson was a brick wall. They didn't concede a goal until the final. Not excluding penalty shootouts because technically those don't count as official goals. So he only conceded one goal throughout the whole tournament, which is crazy. And I just think like some of these players like Coutinho who didn't have a good season at Barcelona, they play better with the national team, just like he did last year at the World Cup. He was Brazil's best player because I see it as like they have a lot more freedom when they play with the national team. When they put on that beautiful yellow jersey, it's just like the Joga Bonito advertisements play in their head, and they see flashbacks of Roberto Carlos, Ronaldinho, Kaká, you name it, Juninho, Ronaldo, everyone from back in the day, from the early 2000s, that just goes off in their head, and they just play like they have a spell cast on them, the Joga Bonito spell. It's pretty amazing to see, like, personally, Coutinho, who we all know is a great, phenomenal player, step up for his country in ways that we know he's capable of, as opposed to at Barcelona, which, nothing against Barcelona, but, you can obviously tell there's a big difference from the way he plays with the Brazilian national team and with Barcelona. And it's something for Valverde to look at because, yeah, Messi's the main man, but you see how good Coutinho's been? Like, you might want to fit in all your players the best way you can, bring the best out of everyone. So, yeah, that's that on the Copa America. Next up, Copa Oro. Yeah, this one was hard to swallow. Very, very hard to swallow, personally. It was saddening and frustrating. Saddening first, obviously, most of you know I'm from Costa Rica, or at least my parents are. I was born here, but the way the last two games went, it was just a massive kick in the balls. Pardon my French. Oh my God, like, we beat Nicaragua in the first game convincingly. Like, okay, it's Nicaragua, no disrespect. We beat Bermuda only 2-1, and no offense, we shouldn't be getting scored on by Bermuda, and we should be scoring more than 2 goals on them. While in the third game, which, thank the Lord, I did not attend, at the Red Bulls Arena here in New Jersey, where we played Haiti. I ended up selling my ticket for a small profit, Thank the Lord I did not go. We lost 2-1 against Haiti. Nothing against Haiti. They had a phenomenal tournament, winning the group, making Costa Rica finish second in the group, advancing as group winners to take on Canada. And while they were 2-0 down at halftime, they made a remontada, Barcelona PSG style. Not without all the cheating, of course. But no, they came back from 2 goals in the second half, and they scored 3 on Canada. And Canada are a growing nation. Alphonso Davies for one. You have Atiba Hutchinson. You have their goalkeeper's name is Milan. It'll come to me. I know he's plays at Red Star Belgrade. Jonathan David as well. If you go back to the last episode, you can hear me talk about a little bit about Canada. And basically, it was done. 2-0 at halftime. They just came back with 3 goals on the fly. Unacceptable from Canada to capitulate like that, but that's football for you. And Haiti making it to the semifinals as a result for the first time. And bringing it back a little bit to Costa Rica, we finished second, and we had to go up against Mexico, as they finished first in their group, with Canada finishing second. Mexico took the lead through Raúl Jiménez. To be fair, we got a soft penalty. It was never a penalty, but you know what? The amount of times, I'm sorry to say this to offend anyone, and that's not my intentions, but the amount of times Mexico have cheated in CONCACAF, especially in 2015, that was the worst example of cheating I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a bigger robbery. Not just against Costa Rica, in the whole tournament, against Panama as well, which was even a bigger robbery in that tournament in 2015. And just other examples as well, and the fact that we got a penalty that was not a penalty, it was kind of bittersweet because, yeah, of course, I would like to win or score fairly, but the fact that it's Mexico and they're used to doing this on a regular basis, it was good, it was like getting a taste of their own medicine. And we scored. Brian Ruiz scored. We took the game to penalties. We played so good, and we just lost on penalties. After we saved the first penalty, we missed 2 and we went out. And I don't know what happened after the game against Haiti, but Coach Gustavo Matosas must have said something to the squad, and they responded well. I couldn't have been more proud of the way we played against Mexico, because in the past, we were scared of Mexico. We would have no ganas, no huevos. You know what I mean? You feel me? And no passion. But this time, this team, it was a mix of veterans and youngsters. They stepped up, and I think the future is, not bright, but relatively bright, because I'm not gonna say something stupid like, oh yeah, future Copa Oro winners, future World Cup winners. No, nothing like that. But it's not looking so bad, because when you think of Costa Rica, you think of Joe Campbell, Brian Ruiz, Ureña, Keylor Navas, especially Gamboa, Waston, Celso Borges, Bolaños. These guys have been around forever, and they've played in. So Bolaños, for one, has played in 2006 World Cup, 14 and 18. We didn't qualify for 2010, but yeah, a lot of these guys have been around for years, like a decade at the most for some of them, and a lot of Costa Ricans were worried for the future. But the game against Mexico showed that we're in pretty good hands for now. And that's that Mexico beat Haiti controversially, robbed Haiti, I should say, with a really, really stupid penalty. I thought Costa Rica's was stupid, the one we got against Mexico, but this was next level. Winning off that, going to the final against the USA, who took down Curacao in the quarterfinals, who shocked everyone in coming second in the group behind Jamaica. And Curacao put up a good fight. I think, like I said before, they are a growing nation in CONCACAF. They're ones to watch. Let's just keep it at that. And then they met Jamaica in the semifinals after a 90-minute delay, if I'm not mistaken, in the game because of a thunderstorm during the game at the location where the venue was at. Jamaica getting there by beating Panama, while the U.S., who finished above Panama in their group, took down Jamaica 3-1 with a brace from Christian Pulisic. And that set up a CONCACAF Clásico Final, where we lost because not because we were outplayed. For one man and one man only, that's the way I look at it. I have so much hatred for this man. Jozy Altidore, you absolute donkey. I cannot believe he missed in 1v1 against Ochoa. Nothing against Ochoa. A great keeper, but you have to finish that. Like, if you know, then you know what I'm talking about. 1v1, just put it to the sides. He's not going to be able to reach. He hits it so bad, so wide. Like, I can't believe it, bro. I still can't believe it. And yeah, Mexico won the Gold Cup. Raul Jimenez, best player and top scorer of the tournament. You know, no surprise. He's a really, really good striker, I will say. I know it's nothing against the Mexican players themselves or the people of Mexico. It's just like what they get away with is what I don't like. If they didn't have that around them, like that controversy that followed them, there'd be a lot more respect for them, not just for me, but a lot of other people who watch CONCACAF football or soccer. And yeah, Raul Jimenez, player for Wolves in the Premier League, had a very good season, so there's no surprise there. And yeah, that was that. Mexico won the Gold Cup or the Copa Oro, depending how you look at it. And then, what do you have? Let's see what I want to go to next. The U20 World Cup, let's just fly by real quick. The USA beat France in one of the most dramatic games with another amazing comeback, with France being one of the favorites to win the whole thing, knocking them out in the round of 16, where we ultimately fell against Ecuador's under-20 team to get a place in the semifinals. But I have to give so much respect to the U.S. and Ukraine. Ukraine, who beat us in the group stages. Oh my word, that team is exciting. Like, please watch out for their number 10. I feel like Andres right now. I don't want to say the name because it's gonna sound so bad if I say it. But guys, I seriously recommend watching U20 World Cup highlights of Ukraine. Phenomenal talent on that team. They all play in the Ukrainian league. But what I can tell you is the number 10 that I'm talking about. He's number 10 for the under-20 team, so his number may be different if you were to look him up for his club team. But he caught my eye a lot during the tournament. And if you can find any highlights, please, I really suggest it. This is one of the most exciting young group of players I've ever seen. And for a country like Ukraine that's never won anything, this is great. At any major level, this is fan-fucking-tastic. I have one of my best friends is Ukrainian, and could not be more proud of him. Because he is a Ukrainian little talent himself. Shout out Stefan right there. But no, it just goes to show that these big-name nations, Germany, Spain, France, that have like a lot of talented youth, it doesn't matter if they can't play together, but this team, they're a family-like cohesive unit. I'm going to just leave it at that. So there's that. Congratulations to Ukraine, who conquered the U20 World Cup. And just to touch upon it, Spain also did win the U21 World Cup. It came to not U21 World Cup, the U21 Euros, beating Germany in the final. Dani Ceballos, who is trying to not force a move out of Real Madrid, but like looking for more game time. He was player of the tournament. Phenomenal player. I've loved the guy since he was at Real Betis until Madrid signed him in 2017. Not getting enough game time for a player his age that needs to development. Arsenal and AC Milan have been looking at him along with Tottenham Hotspur. It was seen that AC Milan were leading the race, but their attentions were turned to Theo Hernandez instead, the left back who was on loan at Real Sociedad this season. He is now a Milan player. While Dani Ceballos, their attention has gone away from him and is mainly between, once again, Tottenham and Arsenal to sign him. Although he has a lot of suitors throughout Europe, those are the main two strong links that are linking the player. And yeah, that was that about the U21 World Cup. Nothing too eventful. England disappointed. Romania made the semifinals, which was a big surprise. Shout out Romania because, as we all know, Georges Hagi was a great player from there. Ferenc Puskas, wrong country, but there is actually a player named Puskas on the team. Radu, Vlad Dragomir, players to watch out for the future, especially Vlad Dragomir. He was a former Arsenal Academy player, but the main guy you want to look at from this team is Hagi. Very good player. He plays in the Serie A right now for Genoa. He was on loan in Serie B this season, but watch out for him in the Serie A this season. Remember the name Hagi. He is the son of that Hagi. Let's just put it like that. And then the Women's World Cup. USA, unsurprisingly, bringing it home. But of course, there's controversy to follow because of Megan Rapinoe. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, man. I don't give a damn about what anybody says. I really don't. Best player of the tournament of the World Cup. Golden Ball winner. Golden Shoe winner. Top goal scorer. Probably going to win the Women's Ballon d'Or this year, if you really think about it. She has every right to brag. She has all the right in the world. She's on top of the world. Like, come on now. Like, why are people criticizing her? Why? Because she doesn't want to go to the White House? And that's on her. She is entitled to her own opinions. I'm entitled to mine. You guys, the listeners, are entitled to yours. It was her choice to say it, and she said it. There's no problem with it. There's no reason to hate this woman, not women. Or, matter of fact, there's no true logical sense as to why you should hate the women of the U.S. women's national team. Or, say just sexist remarks like make fun of the wage gap or just make fun of the style of play. Listen, man. This Women's World Cup was competitive. The Dutch women's national team, machines. Sweden were machines. England were machines. Like, the football on display was just fan-fucking-tastic. This is probably the best women's soccer or football that I've ever seen in my entire life. On display throughout this tournament. It was just amazing. France, Spain, who gave the USA a hard time in the round of 16, like, wherever you went, it was just, besides Thailand, poor Thailand, like, I still can't forget that 13-0, but yeah, it just goes to show that it's growing, and speaking of the wage gap issue, it's only a matter of time till the interest in women's soccer grows as much as the men's does, so it's only gonna go up, the interest. This World Cup was viewed more than the Men's World Cup or the Super Bowl. Men's World Cup being last year's. It had more viewers. Like, I can't stress enough how proud that makes me, and like not only as a person living in the United States that many people care about our women's national team, but also just as a football fan in general that wow, like a Women's World Cup match really outperformed the Men's World Cup match in terms of viewership. That's just, to put it simple, because I'm at a loss of words. I'm going to put it simple for you. Round of applause, everybody. But yeah, that just goes to show that they're going to catch up because Not that the men's game is gonna stop growing. It's still gonna grow, but I think the women's are gonna overtake soon. Like it's all over the news. Like Sports Illustrated, they can't stop talking about it now that the World Cup's ended about a week or two ago. So yeah, we just have to keep on supporting our women, man. Like not our women's national team, so to say, just them, but women's football in general. Like if you guys saw the Women's World Cup, you know what I'm talking about. So please, like everybody, chip in more to watch a game of women's soccer. Portland Thorns, anyone. I cannot stress enough. Women's Champions League, Olympic Lyon women's team, disgusting. The Women's Premier League, amazing. Juventus's new women's team that launched last year, amazing. Manchester United's new women's team, fairly new women's team I should say, amazing. Real Madrid want to launch one soon, fucking amazing. So please, it's growing around you, it's only gonna get bigger, so the least we can all do is just watch more of it. And so the women can get what they deserve. Do you think, I'm going to just leave it at this. Like I said before in many previous episodes in the past, Alexis Sanchez at Manchester United makes $500K a week for doing nothing. Don't you think that that sort of wage goes to, like, I don't know, one of the best players in the world? Megan Rapinoe at the moment is the best player in the world. She could get that wage. She's been long deserving of that wage, if you really think about it, if you've paid close attention to women's soccer. Ada Hegerberg, the current female Ballon d'Or winner, Carly Lloyd a couple years ago, Abby Wambach years back, like, that's all I'm going to say to leave it at that. That comparison. Alexis Sanchez, how much he makes compared to Megan Rapinoe or any of those other U.S. soccer legends from the past, or even any other current player you can name right now that's on the same level of greatness. And to close it all off, some transfers. I have to give everyone here a disclaimer. I am pre-recording this, so there might be some confirmed transfers that have happened that haven't happened yet where I'm at. So this episode is going to go live on Wednesday, July 17th. I'm recording this on the Sunday prior to that, the 14th. So let's just give it a quick recap of transfers. Antoine Griezmann has finally joined Barcelona, and what took forever to get concluded with, because he made that video in May, and then there was talk of, oh, we might not even get Griezmann because we want Neymar from Barca. And then Griezmann was like angry because he was like, well, shit, what do I do now? I already told him I'm leaving. I already told the world I'm leaving. I can't go back. Meaning that he missed practice where he was still an Atletico Madrid player. He missed his preseason practice, got fined, and ended up joining Barcelona. But apparently Barcelona haven't paid the full fee that Atletico demanded. So yeah, there's that. Yada, yada, yada. You know, typical Barca shady financial bullshit, you can say. Because Barca and taxes, Barca and crazy transfer rumors. For instance, when they bought Neymar from Santos, the controversy that came with that, with his dad being his agent, how much they had to pay his father, and yada, 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 all this stuff. But yeah, you know, it's just not really a surprise anymore. No, nothing against Barcelona. It's just typical at this point, to say the least. Speaking of Neymar, it's looking likely he's gonna leave PSG. I don't know to where. I don't know how Barca would fit him if they got him and Griezmann. Maybe Dembele goes out. Malcolm is definitely gonna be out now, at least on loan. I hope not to China. I hope none of these guys go to China. Then you have Coutinho as well. I don't know what Barca's doing. If anything, Barca, work on your defense. You choked on a 3-0 lead. Your defense needs some work. Let's just put it like that. Oh my gosh. But moving on from Barcelona, you have Manchester City securing Rodrigo Hernandez from Atletico Madrid. Fantastic signing. Worth every single penny. The perfect Fernandinho replacement. Fernandinho, top 3 CDMs in the world. It's between him and N'Golo Kante and Casemiro. thing is, Fernandinho is older than all of them, and City need to find a solution now and for years to come. Rodri is that player. Keep an eye out for him. He's going to be one of the best holding midfielders in the world. Mark my words. Speaking of Rodri and Atletico Madrid, they splashed the cash on Joao Felix, 126 million on a 19-year-old. This is the riskiest transfer of all time. The riskiest transfer of all time. Yes, he has a similar playstyle to Griezmann and not being an out-and-out number 9, dropping back a lot, being more like a false 9 kind of. But he's a kid. He's my age. Like, oh my, I good luck, Atletico Madrid. I really, really hope it works out for you. Not only because I like you guys or whatever, but because like that's a lot of freaking money to be spending on a kid. Like, you better hope for your own sakes it works out for you. Because, my God, that's That's one of the gambles of the century. And this generation of footballing history. With since the whole Pogba transfer started to Manchester United, how everything since then has been inflated, a lot more expensive. You better hope, Atletico Madrid fans. Or if anyone from Atletico Madrid is listening to this, you better pray that it works. Along with that, they signed Hector Herrera, decent player, does the dirty work in the midfield. He's going to be pretty good next to Saul, but it's not a direct Rodri replacement, which is the unfortunate part of the transfer. And then you had Felipe from Porto. Hernan Lodi, a Brazilian left back, young Brazilian left back to replace Felipe Luis. Sapunic from Benfica, a young Serbian striker. And then you also have the links to Kieran Trippier, but as of right now, it's Santiago Arias who is the right back, as Juanfran, as we know, departed. So we'll see what else they do in this transfer window. Other transfers include Frankie de Jong finally being unveiled to Barcelona. Well, this was pre-agreed in January. You have Manchester United signing Daniel James from Swansea City and Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace. Wan-Bissaka was probably one of the better signings because, as we all know, Ashley Young is crap, and Wan-Bissaka was one of the best right backs in the league, probably the best alongside Trent Alexander-Arnold last season, and I think he's gonna be a great signing for Manchester United. He not as good going forward as a fullback, but defensively his tackles numbers is insane. So, and we all know, man, you need to just not even like focus on like pacey fullbacks to attack. They just need to work on the defense, like the actual defense itself. So I think it's a pretty good signing for them. In other news, Chelsea, they haven't been able to sign anyone. Just Mateo Kovacic, just to make it permanent. I know a lot of people were confused because, didn't Chelsea have a transfer ban? Yeah, starting on July 1st, but the Kovacic deal was done in late June. So yeah, as of right now, they do have the transfer ban. Let's see how the new guy in charge, Frank Lampard, does. I think that's another risky deal right there. Like, he's a new manager. He just came from the second division in England, and they're gonna trust him with a job at Chelsea. Yes, he's a legendary. It's for the nostalgia. Yes, but I think they should have kept Sarri, who is now at Juventus. And yeah, it's a risk because Chelsea are a Champions League team, Europa League winners. They're going to be competing, not for the league, but I think they're going to be competing at the top of the table, as they should be, And without Eden Hazard, too, it's just going to be hard for Super Frank Lampard, who shares a birthday with me, funnily enough. So yeah, that's that with Chelsea. Arsenal, we only signed Gabriel Martinelli. Good Brazilian striker. Well, he's played out wide at times from what I've seen, but I see his future again as a striker. He's very clinical for his age, an 18-year-old. Listen, just give me Kieran Tierney from Celtic. Give me he's a left back, by the way. Give me a center back. Anything but Mustafi. We need to fix up our defense, and that's about it, honestly. Like, if we can get Dani Alves as well as a right back for now on a 1-year deal till Bellerin comes back, I will be happy with that. So happy. We just need signings, please. Like, I'm starting to get worried at this point. It's mid-July, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. And just to quickly sum it all up, as far as the rest of the world transfers go, Pablo Fornals to West Ham is probably one of my favorite signings of the season. He can be playing for any top team in the Premier League, but he chose to go to West Ham. I guess West Ham have a secret project to progress from the mid-table to push for like a Europa League spot, so to say. And Pablo Fornals is a signing that will propel them to that for sure. He was at Villarreal, but mark my words, he's going to be like a Ruben Neves at Wolves, at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Watch out for Pablo Fornals. Of course, Eden Hazard to Madrid. All the Madrid signings, Ferland Mendy, Luka Jovic, Kubo, the Japanese youngster. Yeah, that's as far as transfers goes. As far as I'm concerned, I can go off the top of my head. Guys, ladies, señoras, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a short recap episode of what we've missed so far from the summer, from my time off, not being able to do the show. My apologies. We're gonna be back every Wednesday. Alright? We're gonna do once a week, every Wednesday, not just during the summer, even when I'm in school, we'll do Wednesdays as well. So Wednesdays is a new weekly episodic time stamp for the show. Wednesday nights, no specific time yet. We'll probably get there, but stick with me here, people. Wednesdays, every Wednesday now, Golasso Football Podcast. Hopefully with a few guests along the way. And yeah, let's just keep growing, everybody. Just a heads up before I peace out right here. You can listen to us on losradio.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Google Play, you name it. But yeah, follow us at Golasso FP on Instagram and Twitter. MDF merchandise for your sick new apparel for the upcoming 1920 season, you know. I know I'm gonna buy that new Arsenal Adidas drip. Woo! Boy, I cannot wait. And follow our main page at Mundo de Futbol, where, you know, Andres and his, you know, new little buddies are gonna be working their magic. Speaking of which, I have to give a shout out to new members of the Mundo family, Kevin, Erlen, and Devin. They're gonna be behind the scenes on the social media pages, so watch out for them and their posts. Welcome to the team, guys. So glad to have you guys on board. And we just hope that you guys are here to stay to help us grow as a family. So yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. I know I said last time, we're back, baby, but this time, I guarantee you, you have my word, we're back, baby. Let's go! Let's get it!